Hi everybody, this is Lisa, and it's time again for another Verbling class. In this class, we will be reading a short blog post from an author named Tim Ferriss. He is well known for a book called The 4-Hour Work Week. He's also written a couple other books, I think The 4-Hour Body and The 4-Hour Chef. So he's a very interesting character who is very interested in success and how to make money and how to live a lifestyle that you enjoy. So he likes to travel a lot and think a lot about things. He also speaks many different languages, including Japanese and I think Spanish, German, some Chinese, maybe a little French. So he's an interesting guy, and this article is about pissing people off, which we're going to learn about what he means by that when we read the article, and then we're going to talk about it. So if you have a reservation for this class, then you can go ahead and click on the Join Class button now to join. If you don't have a reservation yet, but you want to join, you just click on the Join Class. You need a ticket, so you can get tickets if you're a premium member. You have tickets already. Otherwise, there are a few things you can do to get some free tickets. I posted the link up in the chat there for the get tickets. I also posted the link to the article, and I see that some people have already opened it, so that's posted right there. So I'm going to say hi to everybody. Let's just take a minute here and let everybody come into the class. Now's a good time to join the class. I don't know why you're not seeing my video. Let's see. There you go. If you want to join, go ahead and click on the Join Class. It's one ticket, and you get in. And we're going to be using the entire hour to read the blog post, but we're also going to be speaking. So this will be a good chance for you to practice talking in English, not just reading, because it's a short blog post by this person, and so it's going to give us time to go over the vocabulary, but also for you to answer some questions, because I have some ideas about some questions that I want to ask you guys based on the reading. I want to know about your thoughts and your experiences in your own life regarding this topic. Okay, so let me just say hi to everybody. Hi, Aisha. How are you this evening? It's not so late.
Hi, Lisa.
Yeah, I forgot to.
Not really, just 11.
Yeah, just 11 for you. That's too bad. It's early. Hi, Alex. How are you? Alex, are you there? Gotta check on your microphone, maybe. Okay, maybe having a connection problem. Hi, Amparo. How are you?
Hi, teacher. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Thanks.
And Julissa, how are you?
Hi, Lisa. I'm doing fine. How are you?
Julissa, are you there?
Yes.
Hi. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. I'm doing well. Thank you. What?
Sorry, I think my connection is.
What did you say?
I think my connection is maybe bad. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It went out a little bit, but I think it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Alex is having trouble with his connection. I see that he's coming in and going out, so keep trying to come in, Alex, and we'll see if it works. There, maybe that that's really weird. Keeps coming and going. Okay, Elizabeth, how are you doing?
Hello, teacher. I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And we're just waiting to see if Alex is going to be able to stay in, because his picture keeps popping into the Google Hangout and then it drops. So I think that's probably some kind of a connection difficulty problem that he's having. But Alex, stay with us, try to get back in, and hopefully your connection will stay strong and work so you can join the class. Otherwise, I'm not sure how many reservations we had, so there might be some people who reserved and didn't show up. So there is room in the class right now. We can have up to 9 people in the class. And so I can see there's lots of people watching. And if you want to join, now is a good time because we're going to start reading. And I don't want to spend a lot of time waiting for people to join the class because I want to make sure we use the whole hour. So let's just get started. So we have the 4 of us, or the 5 of us, and I'm going to put the article in the screen share. And then I'm going to, before we start reading it, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this guy, just so you have a little bit of background about where I got this. So this guy's name, the author's name is Tim Ferriss. He's an author. He's written, like I said, a couple of books. He's a young guy. I think he's probably in his mid to late 30s or something like that. And I think he went to Princeton or Harvard or one of those, pretty prestigious universities, and he studied languages, I believe, Chinese and Asian languages. And so his interests are really in learning and accelerated learning. So how do you learn things quickly and well, and success, and how do you succeed in things? But he's also, he wrote his book, The 4-Hour Work Week, to help people learn ways to create a lifestyle where they make good money and they get to travel. So he's kind of a very interesting guy. He likes to try new things, and as you can tell from the title of this article, he's kind of provocative. He likes to be provocative, which means he likes to kind of surprise people and kind of see what you're going to say. So the article is titled "The Benefits of Pissing People Off." So do you guys know what pissing people off means? Anybody? What does it mean if you piss someone off?
To make them angry?
Yes, exactly. So it's pretty informal way. You wouldn't talk this way probably to your boss or something like that, but in general, speaking with your friends and people, students, things like that, you might say something like, oh, that guy really pissed me off, or I'm getting pissed, or something like that. That's how you use that. To be pissed off means to be mad, to be upset. Okay? Minor, I wanted to say hi to you before we get started and make sure that you found the link. How are you, Minor?
Fine, thanks, Lisa. And you?
Good, great. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Same to you.
Okay, so I'm just telling you a little bit about him. So, yeah, the benefits of pissing people off. So what's good about making other people upset? That's basically what he's trying to talk about in this short blog post. So he has a blog. The link is down here at the very end. So his blog is called 4hourworkweek.com. And he writes posts, I don't know, a couple times a week probably, and posts videos and things like that. So if you're interested, you can look him up further, and you might find his writing funny and interesting. And it's the type of writing that is very, I would say, new, modern. So he's a young guy. So this type, if you're interested in learning this type of English, it's very, you could say, cutting edge. Like, he's going to use a lot of words that are very informal and very familiar. Even though he's a very intelligent person, he's not really writing academic type of writing. It's more for fun and interesting and curiosity. It's a good guide to read if you're interested in that type of language, which is very common today, which is the type of language you hear in movies and things like that too. Okay. So I'm going to get started with reading, and then you guys will read, and then we're going to talk about these ideas. So, to avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Elbert Hubbard. So that's just a little quote that he said there. So I'm just wondering, what do you guys think that quote means? To avoid criticism, do nothing, say nothing, and be nothing. Aisha, what do you think? If you want to avoid criticism, do you understand what that means?
Yeah. I think he was saying that if you don't want people talk about you or criticize your work, basically you have to be nothing because you can we can talk, we can do nothing. So
Right.
basically that's what he said.
Right. Yeah, that's right. So if you want to avoid criticism, so to avoid something means you don't have it happen to you, you know. If you don't want somebody to say something negative to you or criticize you, then the quote is saying basically you can't do anything. Just don't do anything at all. Say nothing, be nothing, do nothing, all that. And because basically everybody's going, or somebody, not everybody, somebody may criticize you, and that's okay. So if you want to not ever be criticized, don't do anything. But that's really impossible. We're here to do stuff, so we have to realize that people might have their own opinions. So that's what this article is about. And this quote, this is very common when you're reading blog posts and even in books and things. People like to start off with little quotes that maybe tell you a hint of what they're going to talk about. So this is kind of giving us a hint that he's going to be talking about the idea of being criticized or pissing people off, is how he put it. Right alongside the cash and credit cards, I keep a number of strange things in my wallet. The largest is a folded up page from the July 6, 2009 issue of Fortune magazine. In a profile, Scott Boras, widely regarded as the most powerful agent in professional baseball, describes a dinner with one of his mentors after a record-breaking contract. Okay, Sean.
Right alongside the cash and credit cards, I keep a number of strange things in my wallet. The largest is a fold-up page from the July 6, 2009 issue of Fortune magazine. In a profile, Scott Boras, widely regarded as the most powerful agent in professional baseball, describes a dinner with one of his mentors after a record-breaking contract. He says that if you are really...
Hold on, stop there.
Okay.
Wait, stop there. Let's just go over a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to go through some words that you might not know. If you want me to go through something that I didn't go through, ask me, and I will tell you what it means. So right alongside, so right, that means two. So in his wallet, he has some cash, credit cards, and a few strange things. And one is a folded up page. So that just means there's a page, and he folded it up to put inside, to fit inside his wallet. And it's a profile. So a profile is an article that talks about the life of somebody. In this case, it's this guy here, Scott Boras, who's widely regarded. When somebody is widely regarded, that means people think he is the most powerful something. In this case, he is thought to be the most powerful agent in professional baseball. The agents are the people who get the baseball players their money, contracts. And in this article, he's talking about, it's describing something that went on after he just got a record-breaking contract. So that would mean he got a really high-paying contract for one of his players, probably. Probably you guys know what mentors are, people who help you, like teachers, people who help you learn things. Okay, so he said that if you're, so this is a quote from that article. He said that if you are really effective at what you do, 95% of the things said about you will be negative. Keep your head on straight, don't get emotional, take the heat, and just make sure your clients are smiling. Okay, Amparo, will you read that?
He said that if you are really effective at what you do, 95% of the things said about you will be negative. Keep your head on straight. Don't get emotional. Take the heat and just make sure your clients are smiling.
Yeah. So, Amparo, what do you understand from that? What is he saying about the
If
idea
you
of
are
criticism?
doing the things in the right way, Probably you can notice when you have the 95%
Yeah,
about
that's kind of
that,
high.
it's going to be negative.
Yeah, yeah.
Envious people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably. So that's what that guy is saying in that article is basically if you're doing a good job, probably there's going to be a lot of people trying to pull you down because they might be envious, like you said. Yeah, they might not like it that you're doing so well. That seems to happen, especially in some industries, some types of businesses, things like that. So his advice to the person is to keep your head on straight. What do you guys understand about that? Keep your head on straight. If I tell you
Go
to
ahead.
keep your head
Go
on
ahead.
straight. Yeah? Yeah?
Go ahead and don't feel maybe threatened about that. That means that you are doing
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Like keep doing
Follow,
what you are
right.
follow
doing.
Yeah.
your goals.
Stick to your goals. Aisha, did you want to say something?
I said keep doing what you are doing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also kind of this image of like keep your head on straight. That's kind of a funny image if you think of your head and is your head going to be crooked or in a wrong way. So yeah, it's kind of like just keep focused what you're doing and don't get distracted by what other people might be saying. Don't get mad, frustrated, and start going and doing something else that might take you off of your course, right? Just keep your head on straight, keep doing what you're doing. Don't get emotional. What would that mean? Don't get emotional. What would be an emotional response if somebody was criticizing you and you were having a strong emotional response? What would that be?
Maybe don't let the emotions get you.
Yeah.
Or
What kind of? Can you give me an example of like what type of emotion might you have from somebody? Like if somebody's criticizing you, how might you feel about that?
Will be affected negatively.
Mm-hmm. Julissa, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that maybe that means that you should try not to respond
Yeah.
to what the people are telling to you,
Yeah.
and just to continue with what you're doing, to keep on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And by an emotion, so for example, an emotion might be sadness or anger, or you might get really upset and start yelling at somebody. If you watch TV sometimes or read in the People magazine or something like that, you might see that some people who are getting criticized, like some movie stars or singers, or sometimes they get emotional and they hit like the photographer, or they hit somebody somebody who's bothering them. They get emotional about it. So his advice is not to get emotional. Don't do that. Don't let them mess you up or take you off track. And it says take the heat. In English, that's a phrase we use. To take the heat means to just take whatever they're saying. If they're saying you're bad or you suck or you're lame, don't worry about it. Just take it, listen to it, but don't do anything about it. So when you take the heat, it means you're listening to the criticism, but you're not letting it bother you. And just make sure your clients are smiling. So it really doesn't matter what other people are saying, because your job, remember we're talking about a baseball agent here, his job is just to make his clients happy, and that is to get them the best paying contract he can get. So that's what his job is, and so he's got to stick to that. So that's the advice. All right, so back to Tim Ferriss writing. Doing anything remotely interesting will bring criticism. Attempting to do anything large-scale and interesting will bring armies of detractors and saboteurs. This is fine if you are willing to take the heat. There are good reasons to be willing, even eager. Okay, Dennis, hi there.
Hello everybody. I'm not sure, Lisa or Liza.
Lisa.
That is correct. Okay, Lisa. Hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa. Hi. Did you get Did you want to read? Did you get the link already?
Okay. Uh, Doing anything remotely interesting will bring criticism. Attempting to do anything large-scale and interesting will bring armies of detectors and saboteurs. This is fine if you're willing to take the hit. There are good reasons to be willing, even eager.
Mm-hmm. So doing anything remotely. So that word remote. So if something is remote, like a cabin in the forest, that means it's like way off in the distance and it's going to be hard to get to or hard to find. So that's kind of how this word is being used. Even if you're doing something that's even just a little bit interesting, you're going to probably get some type of criticism. So attempting, and that's another word we use for trying. So trying to do anything large scale. That's a word we two words put together use to do anything big, anything that you're trying to do that's like a big thing, like creating a new product, creating something like Verbling, anything that's new and interesting. You're going to have people that are going to try to criticize you and bring you down. That's what these are called, the detractors and the saboteurs. The detractors try to detract from what you're doing, so they try to put you down and say what you're doing is not that interesting, not that great. And the saboteurs, they actually try to sabotage you. Sabotage means to make you unsuccessful, to make you fail, for example. So they might try to make you, something happen to your website or whatever. And this, you can imagine this type of stuff happens especially in business. So whenever a new small startup or company or a business is starting to do something so interesting and exciting that it might actually be affecting the profits, let's say, of another business, then those other people in that business sometimes come in and try to sabotage or detract from your own success. But his opinion, Tim Ferriss, this guy, he's saying that's okay and you have good reasons. So you want to take the heat. You want to be criticized because that probably means you're doing something good. Even eager means you really want to. You have strong desire. You're waiting to do it. So, yeah. Colin Powell makes the case pissing people off is both inevitable and necessary. This doesn't mean that the goal is pissing people off. Pissing people off doesn't mean you're doing the right things, but doing the right things will almost inevitably piss people off. Okay, Elizabeth.
Colin Powell makes the case pissing people off is both inevitable and necessary. This doesn't mean that the goal is pissing people off. Pissing people off doesn't mean you're doing the right things, but doing the right things, we almost
inevitably, yeah.
Inevitably piss people off. Oh my God, this word is really hard for me. Can you repeat again? Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Inevitably. That one right there, or inevitable. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So let's go over this. Colin Powell. So do you guys know who Colin Powell is? He was he's an American, African American. I don't know exactly what he was, but he was something high up in the military, and then he became high up in the government. I'm not sure exactly what his title was. I forgot now, but somebody can look it up if you want to find out exactly. But basically, he's a successful person in the areas that he was working in the military and then also in the government, American U.S. government. And so he makes a case, according to Tim Ferriss, that pissing people off is both inevitable. If something is inevitable, it means it's going to happen no matter what. You can't avoid it. It's just something that is going to happen. And it's actually even necessary. And it doesn't mean that you want to piss people off. You're not starting something or doing something new and exciting because you want to make people mad. But if you're doing something good and right, you're probably going to piss people off, and that way you'll know that what you're doing is important. That's kind of what they're saying here. So inevitable and inevitability, those mean the same thing. One's the adjective, one's the adverb. So yes, you will almost inevitably, you will almost always piss people off, or you can't help but piss people off. Okay, so understand the difference. So you want to understand the difference between why you're pissing the people off. He says, being responsible sometimes means pissing people off. Good leadership involves responsibility to the welfare of the group, which means that some people will get angry at your actions and decisions. It's inevitable if you're honorable. Trying to get everyone to like you is a sign of mediocrity. You'll avoid the tough decisions. You'll avoid confronting the people who need to be confronted, and you'll avoid offering differential rewards based on differential performance, because some people might get upset. So that's Colin Powell speaking there. That's his advice. Julissa, why don't you read that for us, please?
Okay. Being responsible to the people. Good leadership involves responsibility to the welfare of the group, which means that some people will get angry at your actions and decisions. It's inevitable if you're honorable. Trying to get everyone to like you is a sign of mediocrity. You'll avoid the tough decisions, you'll avoid confronting the people who need to be confronted, and you'll avoid offering differential rewards based on differential performance, because some people might get upset.
Yes. Okay, so did everybody understand what's going on here in his advice here? So thank you to Aisha. She posted in the VerbLink chat a little bit about Colin Powell. So yes, he was a 4-star general in the United States Army, and he was under President George W. Bush, and he was the first African American to serve in that position as Secretary of State. So that's a very high leadership position. And so from that position, this is what he is telling us, what he learned. And that's basically you, as a leader, are working for what we call the welfare of the group. So the welfare is like the well-being. So you want to make sure that everybody in the group is being taken care of. But sometimes that means some people in the group even might get angry. That's the pissing off part. They might get angry at what you do, so your actions and your decisions, the things you decide about. It's inevitable if you're honorable. So if you're honorable, if you're doing things that you think are good and you think are right, you might not please everybody. But he says here that if you try to please everybody, get everyone to like you, that's what a lot of people try to do, then that's a sign of mediocrity. Mediocrity is like just okay. And usually in leadership, you want to be super. You want to be great. You don't want to be mediocre. You don't want to be just okay, right? So if you're trying to please everybody, getting everybody to like you, you're probably going to be just like, not doing great stuff. But if you want to do great stuff, then you're going to have to possibly make people upset with you. That's what he's saying. You'll avoid, and this is what you're going to try to do, you'll avoid the tough decisions. So the tough decisions are the hard decisions that are hard. You'll avoid confronting. When you confront somebody, that's like you stand up to them and you say, hey, I don't really think that what you're doing is right. And, sometimes you need to do that. So some people are not doing the right thing. And you'll avoid offering different types of rewards based on different types of performance. So you won't do that if you're trying to please everybody. So these are the things that you will avoid if you are worried about upsetting people. And if you do that, it's not going to be likely that you do something great. He says, ironically, by procrastinating on the difficult choices, by trying not to get anyone mad, and by treating everyone equally, nicely, regardless of their contributions, you'll simply ensure that the only people you'll wind up angering are the most creative and productive people in the organization. Okay, Minor, will you read that, please?
Of course. Ironically, by procrastinating on the difficult choices, by trying not to get anyone mad, and by treating everyone equally, nicely, regardless of their contributions, you'll simply ensure that the only people you'll wind up angering are the most creative and productive people in the organization.
Right. Okay, hi Igor. Saw that you came in.
Yes, hi. How are you?
Good, thanks. Okay.
What is wind up?
Why? Yes. Okay, yeah. So let me go through it here. So ironically, so that when you say ironically, it means like you think you're doing one thing, but it's actually you're going to get a different result, and that's ironic. By procrastinating, when procrastinating is when you wait until the last minute. Yeah, a lot of people do that when they're in the university. They wait until the last night to write their paper or something like that. That's procrastinating. Yeah, so if you do that about the difficult choices and try not to get anyone mad, and you want to make sure everybody's treated very equally, nicely, even if, so regardless, another way to say that is even if they have different contributions. So regardless, like one person might be working really hard and then the other person's not working that hard and not contributing very much, but if you try to treat them all like equally, then you might start pissing the other people. So you'll wind up. So that means another way is you will end up, you could say end up, you can also say you will make these other people mad. So you'll wind up means that will be the result. Okay, so when you wind up making other people mad, that is, say, the result of what you did was that you made these people mad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so you end up. Okay, so you'll wind up. You can use the wind up in lots of different situations, like we were walking downtown and it started raining, so we wound up in the bar. So that means we like ended in the bar. We went to the bar since it started to rain. So we wound up there. Okay. That's the past tense, yeah. Okay, so, but the people that you're going to get angry are probably the people who are being the most creative and the most productive if they're trying to treat everybody equally. So he is, in this little snippet here of a talk probably, is basically saying that you have to make hard choices. You can't treat everybody exactly the same because you want to make sure that these people, the creative and productive people, are being rewarded or recognized or supported, and that the other people who maybe aren't pulling their weight, aren't doing what they should be doing, that you have to confront them. You have to ask them. You have to tell them, hey, you know, you got to do something differently. Okay? So back to Tim Ferriss, he says, don't go through life with kid gloves on. The stakes are too high, and it is oftentimes more important to give people what they need rather than what they want. Okay, Igor, why don't you read that part?
Don't go through life with kid gloves on. The stakes are too high, and it is oftentimes more important to give people what they need rather than what they want.
Yeah. You guys know what kid gloves are?
No.
Have you heard that phrase? Okay. Kid gloves. So you think of putting gloves on your hands, and you think kid gloves means when you're doing something very carefully so that you don't break anything or you don't get anybody upset. So it's a phrase, it's an expression. Don't go through life with kid gloves on. That means don't go through life trying to please everybody, trying to make sure nobody ever gets upset at you, or you don't do anything that's going to get people angry, for example. Because he says the stakes are too high. When the stakes are high, that means too much is important. Too much, we also say it as like the things that are important to you. And so if you are too worried about what other people think, you're not going to be able to really do those great things that you might be able to do. Okay? Yeah. All right, this includes ourselves, he says. So don't treat yourself with kid gloves either. You can be hard on yourself, and you can do things that are not always necessarily going to be successful all the time. You can make mistakes. This includes ourselves. By facing the fire early and often, we ensure the confidence and breathing room later to do bigger and better things, or to just sit back in a hammock with the peace of mind that only comes with belief that you did your best. Okay, Aisha.
This includes for ourselves. By facing the fire early and often, we ensure the confidence and breathing room later to do bigger and better things, or to just sit back in a hammock with the peace of mind that only comes with belief that you did your best.
Yeah. So facing the fire, that's a phrase that, or expression, just means do what you need to do. Even if it's going to be scary, even if it's going to be difficult, even if you're not sure how it's going to turn out, face the fire. It means just do it. Do what you think is going to be difficult. And do it early and often. So this will ensure, this will make sure, that word ensure means to make sure that you have confidence. This will build your confidence and will give you breathing room, so that means space. Room is just space, so that you can do bigger and better things. Or, you know, if you face the fire and you go through and you do it, then you can just sit back in your hammock and you'll know, you'll have peace of mind. That means you'll be at peace in your mind that you did the best you could. Be criticized for doing small, safe things, or be criticized for doing big things that you're passionate about. That is the choice. The criticism will come either way, whether in the form of self-talk, the former, or ankle biters, the latter. Okay, Amparo.
Be criticized for doing small, safe things, or be criticized for doing big things that you're passionate about. That is the choice. The criticisms will come either way, whether in the form of self-talk, the former, or ankle biters, the latter.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you can do small, safe little things, and you're still going to get criticized probably by your mom or your brother, or somebody's going to not like what you're doing, even if it's small and safe. Quote in quotes means safe. Or you might as well do big things that you're really passionate about, that you really want to do, because somebody's going to have an opinion that is not probably very supportive of you. But it doesn't really matter, is what he's saying, because the criticism is going to come either way. Whether you do the small thing or the big thing, you're either going to criticize yourself with self-talk. That might mean like, oh, why did I do that? I'm such an idiot. You know, that's your self-talk when you criticize yourself. Or there's going to be ankle biters. So your ankles are, you know, your feet there in the bottom of where you put your shoes on and stuff, right there at the bottom of your leg for your feet. That's your ankle in the back. And the ankle biters are people, that's a term that we use when people are always nipping at you. They're always kind of like just criticizing you, saying things like, well, what is that person? Why is she wearing that? What does she look like that for? Doesn't she know that that's dumb? You know, something like that. They're just taking little, we call them shots, taking shots at you. He says, let the critics criticize. It's the builders who count. So there's always going to be critics, and what they do is criticize. But the builders, people who are really creative type people like we read about last night in the article, they're the ones who count. It means they're the ones who are doing important things, and those are the people that we should pay attention to, not all the people who just want to sit around and criticize everybody for trying something. So, before we talk about this, because now I want to have you guys talk about it, I want to know if you have any questions, something you didn't understand, any words or anything. Hi, Alex. You made it
I
in.
have one.
Okay, Dennis.
It's about expression "piece
Yes.
off." I know what
Piece
it
off.
means, but
Yes.
I don't know. It's very strange. As far as I can understand, originally it's not such a good expression.
Right.
Are there the situation in which it's absolutely inappropriate to use this expression?
Yeah. So, yeah, I was talking about it a little bit before you got into the class. So I will use this. Right. So you will use it. It's very informal usage. You would not want to use it in formal language. At a guest's house or your boss's house, or if you're having dinner with somebody that you just met. But if you're out with your friends or a bunch of students like at the university, you're definitely going to be hearing people talk, and especially there's different types of language that people use depending on the type of people that you're hanging around with. So I'm from the West Coast, like California originally. I live in Washington. And I know people from the East Coast, who are from New York, they often use much more informal language, cuss words, things like that as normal. Like that's more normal for them to express themselves that way. So you don't really have to get offended. It's just you have to understand who you're talking to and what the situation is. But to piss something, it pissed somebody off, it made them mad. You can say like he, whoops, why is it? She did when she told he was a jerk or something like that, and you can use it like that. I'm so pissed. You can hear that a lot. I'm trying to make it bigger so you guys can see it. So another way is you'll hear that if somebody's just so upset, like, I don't know, maybe they're in traffic and they have to get to the movies and they're going to be late or something. It's just a very informal way to say that you are mad, you're upset, you're irritated. And so in this case, I was saying earlier on that this guy Tim Ferriss is a young guy, and he's a very informal writer when he's writing on his blog. So he wants to be provocative. And so he, instead of saying the benefits of making people angry, you can say that, he said of pissing people off. So that gives a little bit more emphasis and a little bit more colloquial usage. So it's not a formal academic post. It's really everyday speech that, young guys, you can imagine, talk like this. So do you want me to explain anything else about how you use it or how you might hear it, or?
And the expressions like flip me out or freak me out, it's less informal, more safe.
Yeah, freak me out is informal also. It's not, I see what you're saying, like pissed, for some people the word pissed means urine or pee, okay? So that's what that means, piss.
Yes.
And in British English, to get pissed, to get drunk, to drink too much alcohol and get drunk. But in American English, pissing people off, I mean, you'll hear teenagers say it. Probably you won't hear kids say it too much. And you'll hear adults using it. Man, it really pisses me off when she does this. You'll hear guys say that, or you can hear it on TV. So it's not so crude that you won't hear it like on TV or definitely in movies, But it's like who you're using it with. But freaking out, that isn't bad at all. Like if you said something like, that movie not crude at all. That's not unkind to say or anything. You can say that.
But it's not rude, yeah?
No, it's not rude. It just means that movie that really freaked me out. It means it like, whoa, that made me scared, or you thought weird things. Like I don't know what was going on in that movie. It just freaked me out. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Okay. Thanks.
Does anybody else have any questions about any words or phrases, expressions that were used in the article?
Yes, Lisa. When it says, for example, too much is at stake Is it the same as saying too much is great?
Yeah, it's your connection's kind of going in and out, so I'm not sure what you said. Too much is at stake. So, for example, that's like saying there is too. Does that make? Like you have too much to lose if too much is at stake. So, for example, like say you going to and you're playing poker, let's say. You're doing pretty well, but now people are putting in more money, and pretty soon the pot either going to keep betting or you're going to fold. And you might think to yourself, I can't afford. It's just too much to lose. I can't lose that much. So what he was meaning here, the stakes are too high. That means if you go through life trying to please everybody and making sure you don't make anybody mad, the stakes are too high. You're not going to achieve very much. You're going to live a very mediocre life, and you're probably not going to be very happy because you're going to realize you can't keep everybody happy all the time. So that's why he's saying that phrase there. Stakes are too high. You're dealing with your own life and your own. And he's a very passionate person, this guy, Tim Fair. So he's very much about people, finding their passion, living their passion, doing stuff, and not working for 40 or 50 years at a job that you hate and then retiring. So he's the kind of a young guy who really likes to encourage people to do the things that they enjoy now and not just work and work and work and work and then save up their save up their life until they retire. He encourages people to live their life. So that's why he would make that statement that the stakes are too high. You can't live your life trying to please everybody, is what he says. And you wrote here, too much is stake. Yeah, it's too much. Too much is at stake, is what we say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. So, Alex, you made it in. I saw that you were having trouble. You were popping in and out. How are you doing, Alex?
Hi, I'm good.
Okay, good. Were you able to hear the article and understand what it was about?
Oh, I think not. I can't come. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm not understand what happened.
All right. Yeah, your connection was probably slow, and you kept coming in and out. But now we're going to talk a little bit about it. We have a little bit less than 15 minutes, but I wanted to ask everybody, what do you think about that? What do you think about this idea of doing things that you like and you enjoy, even if you might get people upset or people might criticize you? Is that something that you think is a good idea, to do it even if? Aisha, what do you think about doing things that are important to you, even if you might get criticized?
I think in general we all want to do that, but it's not possible for everyone.
Uh-huh. Tell me more.
Because in the article it says that do something even if you will be criticized. And
yeah.
It's not everyone can deal with criticism. Some people, in general, we like to be, we like to please people. We like to be lovable. So
yes,
not everyone can do that. There's something I agree with, but there is other things that I find difficult to do. So it's 50-50.
Here's an example that's kind of common in families, for example. So say your father is a successful doctor, and he thinks that his son should be a doctor too. So, but the son loves painting, let's say. He wants to be an artist. Should the son become a doctor because that would please his dad? Or should he do what would please him and become an artist? That's kind of like a dilemma that people have sometimes in families.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He really should do what he wants to do, what he likes to do.
Yeah.
But at what cost? What that's gonna cost him? We should ask ourselves, he's ready to deal with the situation that will happen if he chooses painting. We don't know if he's ready. I think that's the difficult thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's hard. That's why he's writing the post to encourage people because a lot of people find it very difficult to do the things that they really like. Amparo, what do you think about that? Do you think it's important for people to do the things they want to do, even if they might get criticized or make other people upset?
Yeah, even if you are not going to be sure if you are going to be successful, I think you have to try in order to satisfy yourself about what are your desire, what are your goals. That's the best way to do it. Trying.
Yeah.
If you are going to be with that thought in your mind, why don't I do it? Why I don't do it that if I like that career or that decision? Yeah.
If you don't do it, you might regret. You might have regret or regret it later on. Yeah, that's a good point too. Yep. Dennis, what do you think about people criticizing other people? Do you think you should worry about that or just do what you want to do?
No, I agree with the previous speakers. I don't know, just take it easy and keep doing what you do.
So have you ever found that in your life you had to decide whether or not you should do something because you knew that it might make somebody upset or you might get criticized? Have you ever had that? Have you ever had to make that choice?
No. Upset, actually, it's a very, very relative term. Upset. No. It was never concerned my family, for example, to speak about another people around me. No, I don't think so.
So your family was supportive of you?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Great. Elizabeth, what do you think about people who criticize other people? Do you think you shouldn't do things because they might criticize you?
I think the most important is you need to have a strong personality, and you know if you are doing correctly the things. It's okay, you know, because you are not a body coin, you know, and people all time will be criticized.
Yes, criticizing.
Okay, you need to go ahead with your goals and with you want to do. Yes, I think.
Do you think that it's sometimes difficult for people to do that?
Yes, but it depends. I think if you are a strong person, you don't have a lot of problems. You can to go ahead in despite the critical sides. Oh my God!
Criticizing, yeah.
You continue with your life, with your jobs, with your goals.
Yes.
But if you are unstable or are not a strong person, you can to maybe change your ideas or things like that, I think.
I could say, like, if you're not a strong person in what you believe, then you might be affected by what other people think and what they say, and I think you said you might change your ideas based on what others think or say. Yeah.
Yes, that is
Right.
correct.
Okay. Yeah, right. That's especially true, I think, in families too. That when parents, as a mom, sometimes I have to keep my opinion to myself because I don't want to influence my children and make them think that they should do it my way, because I want them to do it their way. But yeah, some people's opinions count more than others, we can say. So sometimes, if a person you don't know says something, maybe you don't care. But somebody you care about and you love and they say something that they don't like, sometimes that makes it more difficult for us to stay strong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Igor, what do you think?
I think his ideas are not new.
Right.
So,
yes.
I mean, these ideas I found in books from 1980s, 1990s, books for self-confidence, I don't know, something like that.
Yes,
books for people to be more better in life, I don't know, some kind of books. This is kind of here read with books and summarized in one page. And but I agree with him and I do not agree with him because people often they do not like to be criticized, but they think about what think other people about them.
Yeah.
So I think this is good and not good at the same time, because sometimes you can think that you do all at 100% correct and you do not like criticize, but after a while, after a time, you see that you were wrong. So I think criticism from other people is usually a very good thing, and you have to take in consideration when you do something always, because it helps you to be on the right track. And if you skip all this, you may be too confident. So when you are too confident, it's not always good. So this is kind of my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. I think he would probably say the same thing. I think his main point was to not.
I got a lead. I got.
I think that's what his main point was. But yeah, definitely, somebody might be criticizing you and they might be right. They might have some good ideas and you can learn something new from them and not think that you have everything figured out already.
I think you should be very wise to look at all people, what they say, and to take in consideration all opinions.
But
from my experience.
Well, I bet from your kind of job, though, you have to also not have any fear, because if you're trying to sell somebody something, you have to not be worried about what other people think of you, I bet,
I don't care.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah. So you're good. Some people care. That's good. Okay, Julissa, what do you think about this idea?
Yeah, well, I think the author is maybe he's talking about more of the negative criticism that comes with bad intention to make you feel that you are not doing something wrong. Yeah, because there is also a positive criticism that help you to improve some things. Yeah, so I think we should pay attention to that, to the positive criticism, and to the negative, just try to ignore it.
Yeah. Not don't pay attention to it,
Yeah, to keep on continuing. Yeah, what you're doing.
Yeah, right. Good. And Minor, what do you think?
Yes, as you all mentioned, we can avoid the criticisms, but we can pay really attention when someone else uh, uh, do a criticisms, because maybe that his or her opinion, can help us to improve. Maybe as Igor mentioned, we are wrong. We are doing something wrong, and maybe what the other people said is what we need to improve in our work or in our personal life.
Right.
So I think the criticism is a very important thing for us in our life, to improve and to realize if we are doing things well or not. Sometimes, as the article said, even if we are things very well, we are going to be criticisms, but we can or we have to learn to make the difference between good criticisms or not so good criticisms.
Right.
And take the better of what the people said.
Right. Yeah, take the good ideas. Right.
Exactly.
Great.
And also, you cannot be right at 100 cases.
Right.
So
yeah.
50-50 maybe.
maybe more. Depends on who you are.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
can I?
Dennis?
I think this article is not about people who criticize you. It's about people who always try to find faults in what you're doing. It's not real criticism.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Is there another word for criticism with people?
Well, yes. Well, he talked about the detractor. There we go. Saboteurs. Right here in the article.
No. I mean, when people criticize you, not for I don't know, general ideas, just for some kind of petty details, absolutely unimportant.
Oh yeah, they're being very specific about what they like, what you're doing. Yeah, that's, you said it right. Finding fault. Yeah, when somebody's finding specific things that they don't like about what you're doing. But I think his main idea is, basically don't let the fear of that keep you from doing something, because sometimes some people, maybe not in this group, but some people, they're too worried about what other people are going to think or might think, and so they stop themselves from doing something. I notice this can happen also in language learning. For example, if you have fear or you're worried about speaking, sometimes you might stop yourself from speaking because you're worried about somebody criticizing you or saying, oh, you don't know how to say that, or they don't know how to pronounce this. And
or
so
to laugh how you speak, for example, how you do not pronounce correct verbs and tenses, and they kind of laugh at you.
Yeah, and so you might be worried about it to the point that you don't try. And so his point is to try, because people can have their opinions, and they're going to have their opinions, but you just have to do what you want to do. So, Alex, I just wanted to check in. Did you want to say something about that? About doing things even though people might. Yes.
I got a little lost here.
Okay.
I took the class in a half. I will stay listen.
Okay, great. All right. Yeah, I'm sorry that you had trouble getting in. I know it was your little picture was bouncing in and out of the class, so I know you were having some connection difficulties. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know how to fix it, so it's probably your internet connection. Okay, guys. Well, we are done with our hour, and so I want to thank everybody for coming to class and participating. You guys did a great job, and I hope that maybe you found this article interesting. I think this guy Tim Ferriss, he has some interesting stuff. He does have a blog that has lots of different articles about different topics: leadership, success, business, learning languages, things like that. So if you're interested, you could follow the link at the bottom of that page and look at some of his other stuff. So yeah, it's kind of like he's a new upcoming young guy, so he's a popular person in the United States, kind of in the business world. So if you're interested in that area, in that type of English, learning practicing that type of English, you might want to read some more of his stuff or listen to some of his interviews on YouTube or something. So he's a funny guy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming and participating. You guys did a good job.
Good night.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you to
Thanks,
you.
teacher.
Goodbye,
Good
everybody.
night. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.